Greetings. This presentation is for University of Vermont admitted students. Today I'm going to give you an introduction to myself, Thomas Chittenden, Senior Lecturer at the Grossman School of Business. Then I'm going to talk about the classes I currently teach at the University of Vermont. And then lastly, I'm going to give you a mini lecture on the value of business analytics, a lecture I often give to students before we dive into pivot tables as well as logical functions so that you can see the relevance and value of being able to work with data. So I'm an instructor here at the School of Business at the University of Vermont. I have been since 2010. Prior to teaching full-time, I have many years of private consulting out in Colorado with Level 3 Communications, Janus Mutual Funds, and here in Vermont at Competitive Computing. I'm active in the area in a variety of different fronts, as well as here at the university with a variety of leadership roles. The courses I teach at the university, primarily, I teach the first-year course for business school students on spreadsheets, databases, and process models. I also do some upper-level courses on green IT and virtualization, database design, and then a new course on data visualizations with special emphasis on an emerging platform called Tableau. What I'd like to do now is give you all a very short little lecturette, I like to call it, on why it's valuable to understand your data. I use an example that's used in many textbooks, marketing textbooks, management information system textbooks, business intelligence textbooks. And it cites an example in the 90s when an organization started studying the data they had been accumulating from their point of sale systems. In the 90s, a lot of investments, and 80s as well, a lot of investment in organizations was being put in for point of sale systems, things to streamline the checkout process, receipt tracking, and inventory management of goods that they were selling in all of their locations. Think of Shaw's and the scanning system to track what you were purchasing at each of your Shaw's visits. They found in the 90s that this data was great at acquiring what customers were buying, what else they were buying during that shopping visit, when they were buying it, what day of week they were buying, what time of year, and also what else they bought in that same experience. But they didn't have, as much as they do today, complete demographic information about the customer. This was before the day of streamlined rewards plans or also integration with credit card companies to know if a customer is a repeat shopper, or a customer is a first-time shopper, or a customer that usually shops in one zip code but is just in this instance shopping in a visiting zip code. So they had lots of information about the receipt, but not a lot of information about the customer. And they started asking themselves, what can this data tell us? This data that we own, that we're spending a lot of money on tracking, archiving, and maintaining. And so they went out with an unstructured data analysis without a specific question to be asked, but instead they wanted to do what is sometimes called a market basket analysis or an affinity analysis, looking for common purchase likelihoods between goods. They can't start with all 40,000 or 100,000 different stock keeping units or UPC codes that they sell. That would have too many dimensions to provide meaningful insight. So the first thing they have to do is compress all the different types of things they sell, like any size of shampoo and any size of bag of chips, into a more manageable category. And that's where I like to show them later on in the class how you can use lookup functions to categorize certain types of goods so as to make it more manageable for relationship analysis like this. So after you categorize all your products into a finite list of categories, you want to start looking for relationships between when things are purchased, what else they're usually purchased during the same shopping visits. And one thing they discovered, which is often cited, it's cited in a lot of textbooks, and it's humorous, more humorous to any parents that might be watching this screencast right now, but it's cited across many different texts because it was unexpected. They found a very strong purchase likelihood between diapers and beer. So I ask you all that, and I hope some of you are smiling, because these aren't necessarily items you would associate in your mind to be likely to be purchased together. But they did discover that when customers came into their store to seek out diapers, they would be extremely likely to also seek out beer in that same shopping instance. It doesn't work both ways. It's not if people seek out beer that they're going to also go and seek out diapers, so it's not bidirectional. But for any parents watching this, I bet you understand this relationship quite well. If you need diapers, you're probably going to want some beer for that weekend. There's my little humor and why I often give this example. But that doesn't change the fact that this was an unexpected relationship. And so what I like to ask students is, now that you know that, if you didn't know that before you did this study, but now you do, that when they seek out diapers, they're also going to seek out beer, how can you use that to create more value for your organization, for your customer? Many students would say, put them together. Not a bad idea. You certainly could put them together. And you could maybe have a promotional item where you, for the higher margin product, you could offer a bundling discount. Or alternatively, maybe you want to separate the items. Have you ever noticed that milk is always at the back of the store? Milk is a loss leader. Most stores don't make a lot of money on them. Milk is perishable, it's heavy, it requires a lot of energy to keep cool, so it gets people to the store to then purchase other items. So you put it at the back of the store so that customers see more of the value that you offer when they come and shop at your store. Similarly, if you know that customers are going to purchase diapers and beer often together, maybe separating them. Have you ever walked through CVS or Walmart or Walgreens looking for an item and then another item and almost like they are hiding it from you? Of course, that's not their intent, but it does get you to see more of their store. So understanding your customer patterns can help you increase value for your organization. And then the last thing I usually like to offer is, what if they, and they did, found an even stronger relationship on certain nights of the week? And I'll leave that to you to ponder. But if you knew that Thursdays and Friday nights, that the purchase likelihood of beer, if diapers are in the market basket, doubles or quadruples, how would you use that to create more value for your organization? So ponder that, and that's where you can talk about where you would learn more about it next fall when you come here. I want to close by just offering this contact information for the Grossman School of Business Student Services. So if you have any questions about our school, please don't hesitate. Also, my email address is below, thomas.chittenden@uvm.edu. I hope to hear from you, and I also look forward to seeing you.